one wouldn't know how far one can go for desperation until the opportunity presents itself. The kingdom of Okanza was dying. For seasons, the land had known nothing but relentless drought. The riverbeds were dry, and the crops withered like the skin of an old man beneath the harsh sun. The people's faces were gaunt with hunger, their bodies tired from years of hope that had long been extinguished. Desperation clawed at their hearts. The elders, gathered in their sacred chambers, performed ancient rituals to appease the gods, chanting prayers and offering sacrifices that were met only with silence. But there were whispers, murmurs carried on the wind, of a being with the power to summon rain. Mommy Morel, the mythical queen of the coast, a mermaid said to command the tides themselves. If the rumors were true, she could restore the land to its former fertility. King Adebayo, burdened by the cries of his people, heard these whispers, and desperate, resolved to seek her out. The gods were silent, but this queen might be the answer. With his royal advisor, Aja, at his side, Adebayo made the fateful decision to leave the safety of the palace and venture into the unknown. He would disguise himself as a poor fisherman, hoping to find the coastal queen and beg her mercy. The journey was long, the sun unforgiving as it bore down on the royal party, whose appearance had been carefully altered to avoid recognition. They wore ragged clothing and took up the simple tools of fishermen, hoping to blend in with the common folk along the shore. It was there, among the humble men who cast their nets, that they heard of Mommy Morel. Fishermen spoke of her in awe and fear, tales of the powerful sea witch who could make the oceans rise and fall with a single gesture. They warned Adebayo of the consequences of angering her. "She is not to be trifled with," one of them said. "She holds the power of the sea itself, and to challenge her is to challenge nature's balance." But Adebayo, determined to save his kingdom, ignored the warnings. Aja, ever the cautious advisor, urged him to reconsider. "To interfere with nature is to invite chaos. What if things go wrong? What would we do?" Aja cautioned. "The sea and land have their balance, their laws. We do not have the right to break them." But the king was resolute. "I will do whatever it takes to save my people," he declared. The shore they sought was a mystical place, a place the fishermen lucky to have seen her, called the Shore of Shores, a realm that appeared for only 1 hour each day just before dawn. It was here, the fishermen told them, that Morel could be found. The mermaid would rise at that place every morning to bless the wave. It was a moment when she emerged from the ocean to commune with the sea. This often happened every day by 3 a.m. Adebayo and Aja waited in the darkness, their hearts pounding with a mixture of anticipation and fear. As the first light of dawn kissed the horizon, they saw her, Mommy Morel. She emerged from the ocean, her skin shimmering like the surface of the sea, her hair flowing in the morning breeze. She stood, a being of incredible beauty and power, performing her ritual as the waves crashed around her. Adebayo, overwhelmed by the moment, stepped forward, falling to his knees. "Great Queen," he begged, "I seek your mercy. My daughter is dying, and only the elusive Nja, the sacred fish of the sea, can save her. Please, I beg of you, help me." But it was a lie. The true purpose of his plea was far darker. Morel was brash at first and could have attacked him, but when she heard of his daughter, her gaze softening for a moment, showed a flicker of compassion. That was all Adebayo needed, a sign that she might be swayed, and a moment when she lets her guard down. In that instant, he struck. With his enchanted royal staff, Adebayo cast a spell that severed Morel's connection to the ocean, draining her of all power. She staggered, helpless, and could not command the sea anymore. Adebayo had used the ancient staff said to weaken the powers of such beings for a given time frame. The king dragged her from the sea and onto the shore. The tides calmed, the winds fell silent, and Morel was bound. They stored some sea water from that spot into a vessel and quickly set sail back to their kingdom, navigating all the obstacles they had experienced on their way, coming until they arrived home in the thick of the night 2 days later. The powers they used on the mermaid kept her unconscious throughout the journey, and when they returned to the palace, she was placed in an artificial pool filled with water from the sea, from the Shore of Shores, specially built for her. When she finally awoke, she found herself inside a small pool, her magic weakened, and her connection to the sea severed. Adebayo stood before her, his true identity revealed. "You are in my power now," he declared. "I will release you, but only after you bring rain to save my kingdom. The drought must end. I am sorry, but I had to do this. If not, my kingdom would have perished," Adebayo pleaded. "You are a queen too, so you can also understand how I feel when I see my people starve to death because of this wicked drought. Help me, and I promise to let you go." Morel did not respond at first. She stared at him with cold, unblinking eyes, understanding the depth of the betrayal. But as the days passed and she saw the devastation of the land and the suffering of the people, she remembered her own people and was touched, but could do nothing for them. "The rain I bring is for the sea, not for your land," she finally said. "The balance must not be broken." But Adebayo, in desperation, knelt before her and begged her. "My people suffer, and they will praise you as their savior." Morel hesitated. The suffering of the people was undeniable, but the cost of breaking the balance was something she could not ignore. Finally, after much internal struggle, she agreed. "I will bring rain to your land," she said reluctantly, "but know this, there will be consequences." Morel raised her hand to the skies and sang a song that echoed throughout the entire village, an ancient song only known to the people of the sea. As she sang, her magic surged once more, and the skies. If you've watched up to this point and have enjoyed the story so far, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Your support helps our channel grow. And make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting African tale. Thanks for being part of the Fave African Tales family. Back to the video. As she sang, her magic surged once more, and the skies above Okanza darkened. The rain fell in torrents for days, quenching the land's thirst. Rivers swelled, crops sprouted, and the once cracked earth turned green with life. The people of Okanza danced in the downpour, their cries of joy echoing across the kingdom. For the first time in years, hope returned to their lives. King Adebayo basked in their adoration, standing on the palace steps as the villagers chanted his name. He wore the mask of humility, but inside, a fire of triumph burned bright. Morel, bound and helpless, had delivered what he demanded. But the rain brought more than just joy and life. The kingdom's newfound wealth sparked unease among the elders. It was something that was never seen before or heard of. Crops grew unnaturally fast, fruits ripened in days instead of months, and the people prospered in plenty and abundance in no time. Deep within the palace, Morel was in a specially built pool. Her body weakened, and her connection to the ocean severed. Her once glowing skin was dull, and her voice, once the song of the waves, had fallen silent. Yet her eyes still burned with defiance. "You have your rain, Adebayo," she said bitterly when he came to see her. "Release me now, as you promised." But the king shook his head. "The kingdom needs more than rain. Your power can bring wealth, health, and victory. You will stay and serve until Okanza reaches its full glory." Morel's lips pressed into a thin line, but she said nothing. Her silence unnerved him, but he dismissed it as the resignation of a defeated queen. As the rains transformed Okanza into a land of abundance, Adebayo's greed grew insatiable. He ordered Morel to bless his fields with everlasting fertility and demanded her magic to fortify his warriors for conquest. Kingdoms that once mocked Okanza now trembled as its power swelled. Morel, forced to comply under the magical bindings, performed each task with growing reluctance. She warned the king repeatedly, "You are disrupting the balance. The sea will not stay silent forever." But her words fell on deaf ears. In her gilded prison, Morel began to observe the human world through Princess Simi, Adebayo's curious and compassionate daughter. Simi visited her often, drawn to her sorrowful beauty and the stories she told of the ocean's vastness and its unyielding laws. "You must convince your father to release me," Morel urged one day. "He does not understand the danger he has unleashed. The ocean will come for me, and for all of you." Simi's heart ached at Morel's words. She saw the changes in her father, his descent into tyranny, and the growing unease among the elders, but she also knew that defying him was no small feat. Far beneath the waves, the merfolk of Nyanja mourned their queen's absence. Bound by ancient laws, they could not act without her command or the ascension of a new leader, a process that required a full cycle of the moon. But not all merfolk were content to wait. Rumblings of dissent grew among them, whispers of rebellion against their traditions. Still, the absence of Morel's voice left them paralyzed, their anger simmering like a storm waiting to break. A year passed, and the kingdom of Okanza flourished, but at a cost. The once grateful villagers grew resentful of the king's increasing demands for taxes and labor to fuel his conquests. The elders warned him of unrest, but he dismissed them. The day came when Morel refused to perform any more miracles. She could not bear the destruction wrought by Adebayo's greed. "You have taken enough," she said quietly. "I will no longer grant your desires." In fury, King Adebayo punished her, exposing her to the scorching sun for an entire day. Morel's body burned, but it was her tears that sealed the kingdom's fate. Laced with powerful magic, her tears seeped into the earth, triggering the Great Flood. The ocean rose with a vengeance. Massive waves surged inland, swallowing villages and farmlands. From the waves emerged an army of sea spirits, their forms shimmering with raw power. They advanced relentlessly, reclaiming Morel and punishing those who had dared imprison her. Half of the kingdom was underwater, and the survivors were lucky to be alive. Adebayo was captured by the sea spirits and dragged to the abyssal chamber, where he was condemned to eternal punishment. The ocean had reclaimed its power. Morel, weakened but wiser, returned to the depths of the sea. She reclaimed her throne, and the kingdom of Nyanja vowed to maintain a strict balance between land and sea. Princess Simi ascended to the throne of Okanza, advocating for harmony and respect for nature. The kingdom rebuilt, but it would never forget the price of their greed. Rituals were established to honor the sea, to remember the balance that had been broken. The story, passed down through generations, remained a powerful reminder. A boy, curious about the tale, asked the griot, "Is this story true?" The griot nodded gravely. "The droughts we face today are the remnants of the ocean's wrath. They are a reminder of our hubris, of the balance we so carelessly disrupted." The boy fell silent, understanding the weight of the tale, one that would last through the ages. If you enjoyed this story, like and drop your thoughts on the comments and subscribe.